Hi, I'm Diane Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years, and today I have my special guest. He is the author of the book 99 Rules Every Sports Parent Need to Know, no other than Mr. Sandy Cohan. Welcome to Book 101, Mr. Sandy, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
Sure. My name is Sandy Cohan. I'm a mindset development coach in the mindset space, and happy to be here with you and talk about this latest book that I just published.
Yes, congratulations, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world through your book. And what inspired you to write 99 Rules specifically, and what are the pivotal moments of serving youth sport that sparked this project?
Well, I appreciate you asking me that. So, what I do is help on the mindset side for players, right? So, I specialize in the hockey space, but everything from belief, attitude, grit, focus, emotional control, discipline, self awareness. And what I wanted to do is um, try and provide something for players and parents that is the type of thing that I would have wanted to have read when I was younger, or certainly parents now. That something that's sharp, something that has some punch, something that has some grit to it, um, and something that I think kind of pushes people to new heights, be inspired, be motivated. Um, so there's two versions. There's a player version and a parent version. And um, I think just after one of my speaking presentations at some point last year, someone said you should write a book, and that's kind of what started the whole process. And it's been crazy, crazy 12 months, and great to have something that's out there and that can have as positive of an impact on parents and players that it seems to be having.
And Mr. Sandy, Great Humans, or the subtitles emphasizes great humans first, then confident athletes. Why is it order so critical to your message?
Because I think, at the end of the day, while hockey or sports is really kind of my vehicle, we're all in the help build great human being business, right? So any athlete, once the sports end, at some point the jersey goes up, the lights, come up, the people go away. What's left is the human, right? A person that has good character, good integrity, understands how to handle adversity, how to believe in themselves, how to focus. And I think sometimes that gets lost with athletes and parents. I know well intended. Sometimes the message isn't always delivered as it was meant to. Um, so I structured it that way because I think first and foremost, it's about creating great people, which is the foundation. Then, and I think that really is a good platform to then stack on top of that, confident athletes.
Definitely. And how do you define successful youth sports experience through the lens of your rules?
Uh, that actually is an amazing question, and I'm actually happy that you asked that because that's one of the defining, I think, characteristics from athletes and certainly parents is what does success mean typically for younger athletes or even young professional athletes. um, if there's not a destination, it's very, very hard to track a course, to celebrate wins, to make adjustments. But from the parent side, I think it's probably even more important, because I think the goal, the legacy that a lot of parents can build is Their son or daughter is going to walk into any room in the world after sports are done, and what kind of person are they? So I think that part is really, really relevant. Um, and from a support standpoint, parents play a humongous role. Um, and a lot of times I think the younger folks kind of need that boundary, and parents aren't defined by their son or daughter's athletic performance, and I think sometimes that has to be reminded that it's the player's journey. Um, so what is success? Is it to raise someone that can compete hard? Winning is, of course, important, but how you win is also important. So that's why I kind of structured it that way. But yes, I agree that success needs to be identified for athlete and parent, so then it can be chased. And sometimes that's the issue.
Mr. Sandy, beautifully articulated. Very well said. What's the most damaging mistake you see sports parent making today, and which rule directly address it?
Um, I think that what players are really looking for is a stable force first and foremost, right? Like they want parent first and foremost. They don't need another coach. They don't need another analyst. The player knows when he or she performed well or not to their standard. So I wanted to write an entire book that kind of addresses the whole life of a parent, the drive to competition once they're there. How do they handle the athlete feeling good about themselves, being nervous? So, one of the ones that's probably like the most relevant for me, which most people ask about, um, is really the first one, which is be the constant, not the coach. It's you don't need to dissect everything, like drive the car, be the parent. So um I think it starts right out of the gate, but all you can open up to any rule in the book, and they're very, very fun to read. You can go over them, highlight them, track them multiple times. So I would probably say rule number one, but there's 99, so you got to hang in there.
99 rules. Rule
Yeah.
number one is often the foundation. What's yours, and why does it set the tone for other 98?
Yep. Because for me, I think it really kind of defines, right? So I have the rule title, maybe 7 or 8 kind of quick lines, um, and then like a good anchor statement, like a good kind of gut punch closing line. Um, and rule number one is really just about what I said, kind of being the constant. That they don't need another play-by-play analyst. Your kid, they need someone that like never flinches, and someone who's there. Um, who doesn't change. Teams change, coaches change, teammates change, but the player needs a constant. So I think that presence is the only guarantee that the player gets. And I think that what sets this apart is that it encourages parents to be the anchor that their player can count on, not the echo that they fear.
Definitely. Number one is the number one rule that we need to follow. So, what specific rule help parents foster true confidence in young athletes?
Well, I think a lot of it is you have to understand kind of what confidence is, and to be very, very quick with it, right? Confidence and belief are not the same thing. So everybody wants to get to a place where they are feeling confident, but the best way to do that is to tap into belief. So I often tell parents and athletes, you kind of want to think of confidence and belief in this way. If you looked at a tree outside, what you see above ground, that's confidence. What you don't see below ground, that's belief, right? So in that example, no roots, no tree, no belief, no confidence. So a lot of the book is kind of shaped into how can you help your athlete um, dig into those things that make him or her believe in themselves, remembering past successes, um, staying in the moment, and a lot of those things. The key, I think, to belief and confidence really is focus and grit. So there's many rules that kind of lead to that, but the whole book is really there to kind of help the parent handle all of the challenges so they can then in turn be a good example for the player.
Mr. Sandy, which rule is most crucial for protecting child's intrinsic motivation and love for the game?
Um, I think so. The way the book is structured, um, there's kind of introductory rules, there's foundational rules, but I would say that the answer to that probably would be like a whole section. So there's almost maybe 10 to 12 kind of rules about that topic that you're talking about. Um, and that really kind of is in like the second part of the book, which is all about um, avoiding the wrong kinds of pressure, and helping your player identify um, the performance anxiety, achievement, handling losses. So there's really almost an entire section kind of devoted to that. But um, I would probably say it's in section two. There's maybe 10 or 11 rules that are focused on that. But um, it's a linear book, and it all kind of leads lots of takeaways, and it's a fun read, quick one hitter, quick read.
Fun read, people. Fun read for
That's right.
sure.
Yeah. Yep.
How should a parent use the rules when dealing with a difficult coach or unfair playing time or team politics?
Yep. So again, there's lots of kind of nuggets in the book about those topics because there's a lot of situations there. What I suggest to parents always is that they remember that their son or daughter is always watching. They're always hearing. So reactions to a coach or interactions with other parents or comparing out to other players, um the son or daughter is always kind of soaking that up. So there are many sections in there that um really kind of help younger people identify this concept of focusing on actions and behaviors, not so much being outcome focused, um and helping to understand that really your player, you can either control something, you can impact it, or you have to let it go, whether that's a coach, whether that's a bad situation. So there's lots of little tidbits in there, but what you just mentioned is very normal. And what I encourage every parent to remember is that no coach, no situation um, should have the power to negatively impact the child um, with criticism or mannerism. So parents play a big role.
Mr. Sandy, what's your rule regarding specialization versus multi support participation and reasoning behind it?
Again, and I'm not being vague because you're bringing up great topics. There's multiple rules kind of focused for that, but yes, I deal with a lot of professional athletes. As the years have gone on, I've tried to steer younger because I believe that mindset is so foundational. It's so important. It really dictates everything else. Um, I always encourage, though, let kids be kids and let athletes be athletes. Typically, um, when it's time to specialize, I think a lot of that stuff kind of sorts out. I like skill development. I like being fair on your kids. I like uh, um, situations where they're pushed to want to win. I do think winning matters. But I also know that the child has to want it. They have to have a desire for next level something. They might not know how to get it. That's
Yes.
where I think kind of parents come in, but it's got to be the player's journey. And sometimes that's hard for parents, right? We want what's in the best interest of the kids. Sometimes it's okay to let them fall, though, so you can teach them how to get back up. Sometimes the bruises, that's what builds the backbone. So I think every player is different. Um, but I think it's more important to be a good athlete first and to encourage your child to be in multiple different athletic scenarios. Because typically the best athletes typically
Yes,
make the best specialized athletes down the road.
definitely. Oh, Mr. Sandy, as an author, what are your short term and long term goals?
So I have a desire to have a series of, there's going to be maybe five right now. It's five books in kind of the 99 Rules series.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm in the athlete space, so I do a lot of speaking and work, but I want to be on stages to try and impact as many people as I can. So we have some books in the works kind of on leadership that are going to kind of bridge the gap, from the sports world to um, the world in leadership and other things. So over the next year, we have a couple more that we want to get out, and really just continue getting these books in as many people's hands to hopefully continue to have as much of a positive influence on people as we can. I was a hockey player. That was my identity for a long, long time. I've been a coach for a long, long time, but as I've gotten older, I think I'm probably more of like a teacher. That's probably what I've always been, just in like a hockey player's body. So my goal is to keep communicating and trying to help. And I think it's such a big part that anything having to do with mindset, mental performance, um, it's the foundation. So as many kids as we can get, as many players, athletes, even pros that we can get dialed in with that is important, but it's just as important for the parents.
Definitely. Yes, indeed. Good luck to your goals, Mr. Sandy. And looking forward for more and more empowering books to come. And what will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be, of course, like you?
Ah, well, hopefully they would be better. Hopefully they'd be
Yes.
better, but um, I I always as I've gotten older, I think I'm learning and I'm practicing it more and more. And you're very, very good at it, but you want to listen first. Listen first. There's lots of people out there that have um, lots of great messages, and there's much more that you don't even know that you don't know than you actually don't know. So be open to it, listen, and things typically sort themselves out when you are much more open to what others are saying.
Mm, definitely. Thank you for your advice, Mr. Sandy. And can you please recommend a book that influenced your journey or books that influence your journey?
There's a great book. It's by Angela Duckworth. It's The Power of Grit. I love that book. Um, I think she has just a tremendous amount of knowledge that was very, very inspirational for me. I love the concept of grit and focus. Um, and I think there's probably a lot of those influences kind of through my books. They're available at the website's mentaledgehockey.com. These books are not hockey specific, though. That's just currently where they are at mentaledgehockey.com. But anything by Angela Duckworth, I'm a huge fan.
Yes, thank you for that recommendation, Mr. Sandy. And what there a rule you found particularly challenging to write, or that evolved significantly during the process of your writing?
Um, I think I think anything having to do, there was a lot of stuff in this book that kind of came up because either things I saw that over the years, or things that I did wrong, or things that I hoped others would kind of be better. So, anything having to do with not not making your, meaning my or the parents' journey or their baggage, the baggage of the next generation. Just because we suffer doesn't mean that they have to suffer.
Yes,
um and I think that was, again, it's not always easy when it's your own kids. So I think anything having to do with that you really have to make sure that your role is teacher, educator, helper, but it's it's your child's journey. It's not your kind of go at sports is over, and sometimes that's hard for parents to accept. You don't need to relive it through your child.
Mr. Sandy. If a parent could only internalize three rules from the entire book to create immediate positive change, which would you prioritize?
Anything in the first section, but so the way that the book is laid out, right? In this book, there's 7 sections. So um, in section one, it's you knowing what you're really here to do. So it kind of starts there. Section two is avoiding the wrong types of pressure, and it goes on and on. What you say matters more than what you think. So the first half of the book, I think, is really, really comforting, encouraging for parents to read, because this is not a parenting book, it's not an academic how-to book, but I think it kind of makes parents have their defenses down a little bit and be a little bit more open to um everyone's doing the best that they can, but everybody needs a little bit of guidance. So the first half of the book, I think, is really, really, it's a smooth kind of landing. And about halfway through, once we kind of get to section five, it really kind of starts to get a little bit more specific. But I love the first half of the book. I love the whole book, but the first half of the book, it took us a while to get to that place where it was welcoming, and you kind of pull the reader in, making them feel safe, um, and a little bit vulnerable, and that's a hard thing to do. So I was very fortunate, the people that helped me kind of put it together, that we kind of were able to structure it like that.
Mr. Sandy, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in second season, and my food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in its fourth season, and my baby podcast, Law 101 and Mental Health 101. Love Letters in fourth season, as well as my movie 101 review and music 101. Science 101 and Sex 101 in its fourth season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Mrs. Sandy, what's your ultimate hope for the legacy of this book on youth, sports culture, and parenting?
I hope that it empowers parents, makes them understand that it's okay to not know. It's okay to not be perfect. That's not the goal. Um, uh, and I hope that the legacy is that understanding that raising the person, I think, is the most important part. And I think that comes a little bit easier for parents than to try and raise the athlete first. So that's my hope, that it makes better parents, better people. They're inspired by it, and hopefully they can raise great kids because of it.
Yes, indeed, Mr. Sandy Cohan. Thank you
Hey,
so much for sharing your 99 rules every athlete needs to know to the world. And we are hoping for more and more and more empowering books like this to come. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your book, your advocacy, or your business itself?
yeah, mentaledgehockey.com. I'm moving, getting to a place soon where it's a branding, I know personal branding, but right now, Mental Edge Hockey books, that's where they can find all my information.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Sandy Cohen because if you support him, as I said, for sure, more and more and more empowering rules to come, more and more empowering advocacy to come, and for sure, more and more empowering business to come. So, Mr. Sandy, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Daniel.
Monica, people, see you soon.